All right, so you watched the game last night?
You know I ain't watching none of this shit. I haven't watched baseball since we got eliminated. Like not in the league. I think the closest I did was like we went to Longhorn, up in Cross County.
Ah, my neck of the woods.
What day was that? On Thursday. So we went there and like the game I was sitting in the booth and like the Dodgers and the Braves was like in my sight line. So I looked over a little bit, but I've like no intention of watching baseball. And plus like they had the post season, like the after you get eliminated, like press conferences with like Boone and Cashman, and then that pissed me off like even more, so I just was done.
Usually like, especially like if I was like walking in the city or going from work somewhere, I'd always like see like pop into a bar like the window, kind of
Yeah.
like those old school like Christmas. You look through like the thing, but yeah, I saw it walking by some place last night, and then I was talking to my brother about it, and he's like, I kind of want them, the collapse, like the 3-0, kind of
Yeah,
like.
that's the other thing. Like I was like telling my stepdad too. I was like, we might be not, we might by the end of the day, we might not be the only team to blow a 3-0 lead in the playoffs. And hi, Joel.
Yeah, it was
Yo,
a marathon. I mean, no,
Nah,
but
but
with the Astros, no, with the Astros, they'll just say like, because they're like public enemies, so like they'll say, "Oh, it wasn't a real year anyway," so then you'll still be on Boston Yankees as like the only time.
no, because I won because game two we talked about like the pitching thing with Boone and Hap and like Garcia, but we didn't talk about like on the other side the umpiring the strike zone. We didn't talk
Yeah,
about CB Buckner being like the worst like umpire ever, and like me and Joel was like talking about it, and I was telling him I was like they maybe like every year they should like grade like the umpires with like the most accurate strike zone. Like obviously nobody's gonna be like 100% thing, but like you'd have to get like 85% of your like strikes and balls like called correctly in order to umpire in a postseason. And if it's and then if you're if it's below like 70, like you have to like like you have to get suspended or you gotta like become like a I don't know, something like you can't umpire games like the following season. Like
accountability.
yeah, like because like the like if you saw that game, it was like crazy. And then in the ninth inning of the
No, Joel.
I forgot which game. Yeah, Joel, like you're like
Joel,
blurry
Are
as
you are
hell.
you about to drop dime on us? It
I'm
looks
trying to
like one of
fix
those
this video.
2020 thing with the thing block your face. You can't see. I see a silhouette.
I'm trying to see how I fix. I'm on like a
And it
MacBook.
sounds like you're the voice of God too. Like yeah.
I'm in a whole different area.
How can we get more subscribers? It's like you already know the answer or some shit like that.
I
It's
mean,
probably because the lighting is from behind you. So,
like
yeah.
talk for a
It's
little talk for a little bit. Let me see if it work. If that works. Like
yeah.
talk for a
It's
little talk for a little bit. Let me see if it work. If that works.
Y'all can hear me though, right?
Yeah, but it's
We
like
can hear you, but it got like
cathedral.
it sounds like ominous. Like it's like
You've
you're
had 23
bellowing.
I
episodes.
swear it's me though. I swear. It's not. I'm trying to fix everything right now. I'm on a MacBook. I'm not even home.
I know. I get no, or just like busting chops because it's like fun.
Yeah, we gotta get you a mic.
Oh, mine broke anyway. I sound terrible. That's why like when I edit, I could tell like it's like off. The first like month we did this, it was like perfect. I had like the best quality, and then oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Well, like the last thing I want to say about like the thing. No, because like I thought about this point, but after the fact, like how stupid. I mean, like to me, I was thinking about it in the shower like this morning. I was like, as you know, of course, I think about everything and everything I come up with, genius ideas I come up with in the showers. in the shower, like the name of the show. But
You need the
like,
water bill. You got to pay the water bill because all your ideas come from that. So maybe one day if we get funding from this, we can pay the water bill because you all you're thinking in
yeah,
the
I
shower.
don't even know who like the water supply company is of like New York, but yeah, thank you for whatever's in your water that makes me comes up with my ideas. No, but I was like, that game too is it's definitely like one of the dumbest Yankee decisions ever. And we didn't talk about Whitey Ford in the
Yeah,
last one. We forgot to tribute him, but
yeah. It was like the night. It was the day before, I believe. So we can always talk about that. Whitey Ford, New York guy, a New York Yankee, New York. He's from New York.
yeah, because it was when I say like dumb decisions, like in the 1960 World Series, which like the other day they had the anniversary of that home run, and it's crazy because like that whole area where that stadium is, I probably like threw up and like pissed on like the stadium or the area of the stadium where it was at various
Yeah,
points because it's right there where it's on the main campus of Pitt where like all the like the bars and the parties and stuff like that are at. So
but you went to the new one, of course, right? The three area where they have like the bridge and stuff.
oh yeah,
The new,
where like Heinz is and
yeah,
yeah, because they built like a parking like they had Three River Stadium, which is like where like both of them played for many
yeah.
years, and then they built PNC Park, and then they built Heinz Field like on the sides of where Three Rivers is. But like that area is like cool. They got like a little spot called like Tequila Cowboy. I only been there once, but
Oh,
it's
I just think it was
it's
great.
super
Like
neat.
that's one of the best settings. That's like I haven't ever been there, but I heard like that guy who did the Philly one, that one, and I
Yeah,
don't know if he did the Mets one, City Field. That's a good one. That's a beautiful one.
they were saying like I saw some on because I follow this account called like MLB Cathedrals, and it gives you like nice pictures of like stadiums and like the little facts about them. And like the other day they did like the best qualities of the best thing about the stadium, or one good thing about the stadium and one bad thing. And
Mm.
like they were saying like City Field, like they should have had like the left field stands in the right field, so that way like you could see the planes from LaGuardia like flying out.
Yeah, but that was always a big deal. But you'd always hear the train, especially the World Series in 2000. You'd always like they would have to stop play sometimes, and then because of planes.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Last thing on that cathedral thing, I'm not sure, but obviously it's not there anymore. But Ebbets Field, they have like a wall still because I think they built
Yeah,
the
Forbes, they
new
still
one.
have like the same outfield wall that home run went over. But nah, what I was saying was like it goes like the dumbest decisions is like um in the 1960 World Series, like Casey Stengel, he ended up getting fired for it. Like Whitey Ford was obviously like the Yankees' best pitcher. So what he would do is like all year round, like he would save Whitey Ford for like on he would save Whitey Ford for like the good games. Um, like he would save him for like the best team. So it'd be like if like Boone only pitched Garrett Cole against like the Astros, the Rays,
Mm.
um, who else is good? Cleveland, Minnesota, uh, and like never pitched him against anybody else. So a lot of years, like he didn't win 20 games. Like he ended up with 236 wins, but like if he
Okay.
just let him pitch like regularly, like any other pitcher, like he probably would have ended up with like 300 wins. But he lined him up. Bless you. Instead of pitching him in like game one, he pitched him in like game two or game three, so that way he'd be lined up to pitch in like game seven or something like that. Or I think it was the other way around. Like instead of like pitching him where he would have been lined up to pitch game seven, he pitched him like in game like three. So they ended up losing our series. And the crazy thing about our series is like the Yankees, like all the blowouts the Yankees won, all the close games the Pirates won. So like if you look at like the box score, it's like the Yankees scored like 40 runs or like 50 runs to like the Pirates like 25 runs, and they lost the World Series.
Yeah, it's like sometimes, yeah. Well, what's that?
There's a Universal movie coming on.
Is he gonna drop? First it was the disembodied like cathedral voice. Now we're dropping. No, we're just having fun. I had something to say about that shit. Oh yeah, and back then they had like a 4-man rotation usually, right? For pitching, wasn't it like 4 or just like random?
Yeah,
And
it was like four, sometimes 5. Like they'll have like a spot starter or something like that.
And back then, during the off season, they'd be like gardener, they'd be like construction workers, like a lot of these ballers, and they play like they take the train there and stuff. It was like way different now. That's why it's very regimental. Where in their contracts is like I'm getting these many starts, probably because they want to beef up, of course, their it's all money. I mean, it's
Yeah, that's why like the White Sox threw the World Series, because like their owner was like so cheap. Like he made them like do their own laundry, like pay their own laundry bill, and like it had one of the guys, the 8 men out, like he the same thing you said, like they had clauses for like starts or wins or whatever. And I think like because back then like these pitchers would pitch like virtually like every day, so the guy had like a clause if he won like 30 games, like he got like a bonus. And like Charles Comiskey, he basically like told the manager like to skip him, like skip his last 3 starts. So he told like the reporters like they did that to keep his arm fresh for like the World Series. And that was one of the reasons they think, because he used to screw them out of money. And then it's crazy because they got banned from the game for throwing the World Series. And it's
I know.
like it's the same thing like today. Like the owners, like nobody's ever on the side of like the players. They're always on the side of like the greedy owners, which is weird.
I didn't get to actually say this last week. We talked about and Joel brought up Hal. Hal's the one that he liked, right? Steinbrenner.
No, Hank, the one he passed.
Hank, right? Yeah. I got him mixed up. So Hank, like my brother has a story where he got like really good seats and he was in the bar they have there, and one of the guys was there and he was acting like it was like hey, this is my joint, and like he was like talking like that.
Wasn't
and I think,
Randy Levine you said?
Yeah, I mean, all right, but he was kind of being like a real. He thought he was like top shit, and like it just came off weird because it was like in a baseball park, and instead of it being like Cracker Jacks and stuff like that, it's like a weird, classy like a penthouse type bar and stuff. It's way different now baseball. Like you were saying about the cathedral thing, the Yankee Stadium. My earliest memory is like walking up the ramp and the whiff of like the stale beer, piss, popcorn and shit. That was a great. I'm so happy. I'm gonna pop in some photos. I found a bunch from '97 and in the game with the Indians, and I'm in the bleacher with the bleacher creatures and stuff. Man, what a time! What a time!
I know, like they like romanticize it, that like a lot of the old parks, like you the only time you saw, like you said, coming out in the tunnel and then seeing this, like in a lot of the old parks, like you couldn't see the like the first time you saw the field was when you got to your seats. Whereas like in the new parks, they built it so you could walk around and watch the game. Cause you know me, like I buy the cheap, but that's the one thing I like about the new Yankee Stadium is that like I buy like the cheapest ticket and I just like walk around, and like you could stand behind like the third baseline or the first baseline, and you could basically watch like the game from like behind home plate. But you just gotta be like willing to stand and stuff like that. But
I
that's
did that at WrestleMania at the MetLife, the football stadium. My seat was literally like the back against the wall. I was like a mile up from the thing in Giant Stadium or MetLife Stadium. I didn't sit down there. I walked around the whole time.
yeah.
What am I gonna do? Like, just binoculars? Like, anyway.
But like the old stadium, like
next year we'll go to a game. I don't know. We'll do a live report. We'll see.